Hello, how are you doing today?
Yeah, man, I've had a week. Uh, so you're gonna get me at a low energy.
All right, that's fine. That's cool. I am very tired. Been a long week with shows and working shows and Sebastian Bach. That show took a lot out of me. I worked that show. That was pretty cool. Uh, Still got the voice. Um, 6'10", giant of a man. Uh,
Mm.
but that's not why we're here today. My name's
No, we're
Adam.
here, and I'm Kate, and this is Adam and
Adam.
Kate plus
8
eight.
plus 8. We're off a little bit, folks. So
We
bear with
are
us.
a hardcore podcast.
A hardcore podcast. I'll get the little action thing. That way, the YouTube people can see us like struggle to synchronize things. um,
Is it go on? So three and then go, or go on three?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. What's uh Uh, fucking. What do you want to start off this episode with? We got some cool stuff to talk about.
We got some good stuff to talk about. How about what have you been listening to this week?
All right, so I've had a full week of music, which some of the mail will also come into play for this. Um, the two surprise things that I got, one was browsing hardcore Reddit, and it led me to chat pile Reddit, and this band called Vatislava. They just put out a record not too long ago. I forget the name of it. I sent it to you. Um,
You did. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
that's good.
But
If when you get a chance, it is a different take on a lot of the noise rock. There are some beautiful female vocals throughout it. The music is it can be very flowy and it can be very
okay.
jarring. So it's a different
Okay.
take on it. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's like the first two or three tracks. Summing that up. Rest of the record. Get a chance. Baldaslava. I got it off Spotify. Very cool record. And the other cool thing I got, other than the stuff that like came in the mail, was Division of Mind put out a single.
I did get a chance to listen to that. Uh or I listened to the first track from it. Hard.
Hard,
I
hard.
I thought this band was like fully done.
Same.
Like
So
they hadn't put out anything since like what 2017?
yeah, they put out the one full length on Triple B. They did like a tour or two, did some fest appearances, and then just kind of disappeared.
Yeah. There was and they came up at a time like there was a bunch of other bands like them that all came up around the same time that all kind of vanished around the same time. It was like
Do you think?
Detain was
Oh
another
yeah,
one.
that is a good one actually. Do you think? Uh, Not to derail the conversation of some of the best knuckle dragger music that's come out in 2026. Do you think like you said Division of Mind and Detain came out at that specific time? Do you think COVID fucked those bands and a handful of the other ones that disappeared more than it's ever been credited for?
I think so. Like I remember there was a lot of bands that seemed to have some amount of heat behind them, but like right when they would have started like really doing like the come up, right when they would have started like playing more shows, like playing out more, maybe like doing a weekend or like doing a month here or there, COVID hit. And like the only one I can think of that like survived that was like Tsunami.
Uh,
And like
yeah, they're definitely one. Gulch kind
Tsunami
of
survived that. Drain did to a certain extent, so did Gulch. But like
magnitude. Magnitude did a
Magnitude,
little bit. Mind Force and Candy are the only other ones that I can think of. And again,
I feel like
almost
Mind Force was doing like because they had like that big record drop after COVID. Now like their first full length
what you
that came
think?
out in like 2021, right?
I thought that Excalibur came out before 2020.
It's entirely possible. I do remember going to like here in Philly there would be like these like hardcore like merch swaps and meetups and stuff during COVID, like when we couldn't have shows. And the first one I went to, like everyone was wearing Mind Force merch.
Well, so is one of my favorite things. I love talking about J Mind Force. This is kind of a cool tangent to go off of. I think that like we've, as you said on here before, the only way to experience hardcore is to go to a show. I think the TikTok pop of a handful of bands, let's say 15, 20 bands, more than a handful.
Excalibur
But
came out in 2018. You're 100% right. I don't know what the fuck I
holy
was talking about.
shit. No, no, no.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a little later on. But I think like when COVID hit and like Mind Force was not a big touring band, but like a handful of the bands that really did pop benefited from labels really starting to get their legs underneath them. Because Run for Cover was at a weird point, but they started getting more into their own lane. Triple B was like the hardcore label. Like Streets of Hate and New Morality Zine were starting to slowly pick up steam. The name was getting bands were getting more recognition. I mean, you
Yeah.
had all the legacy labels.
The,
That
at
period.
that time, it was like Triple B and Closed Casket were like the two big ones for like more like straightforward and heavy hardcore. Um,
For
there were
noise
some
a
other
little
ones
bit.
out there like Convulse and whatever, but they were doing more fringe. I mean, they still are doing more fringe,
I
like
think
spiky
yeah.
punk stuff.
Pure Noise was definitely like in a very big. They had a big.
Yeah,
Pure Noise was like the Victory, Trustkill, Revelation, all over the place, and they happened to have some of the highest quality bands of every guitar genre you could have at that point, which was
100%.
they got a lot of my money for several years.
Yeah, Pure Noise feels like in another 10 years. I feel like Pure Noise will fill a similar space as like Epitaph.
Holy shit!
You
Uh,
know what I mean?
yo, they're kind of all they need is like an imprint label, maybe two,
Yeah,
and they might overtake Epitaph with the way
yeah.
they're
I
going.
mean, Epitaph is still like staying relevant. Like they haven't really switched into that like you know sleep mode like legacy label thing that like the Death Wish and like Bridge 9 is kind of like have kind of gone into. Um, but yeah, I could see Pure Noise being on the like a mini major in the way that Epitaph kind of is. Not as a pejorative, but just sort of like as big of a label in the indie world as you could hope to be, sort of thing.
To kind of further derail just a little bit, talk about legacy labels. And I think that this is fun. I'm taking my glasses off so you know I'm serious. I just fucking dropped them. So,
Wait, and then I need to move the hair out of your eyes,
yeah,
and then everyone
let's
can see how beautiful you really are.
so like the legacy label stuff. I came up through Victory, the '90s part of Rev to current. I did not come in through like the big pop for Rev, but Victory, Ferret, Trustkill. Um, and I'm seeing like a lot of Trustkill's back. Ferret's now Good Fight, and
Where
Deathwish is
bands
still
go to
around.
die.
That's Prosthetic Records. Thank you very much. Give credit where it's due.
it it
Come
can
at
be
me,
both.
motherfuckers. I have a lot of friends that have been signed to Prosthetic and been like, "Ha, fuck!" Like that's how they felt like 6 months later. Fucking seeing Death Wish kind of like do a lot of represses, and they'll do a handful of new things. Don't get me wrong, but they're not blasting out millions of new records. Bridge 9 is still putting out a lot of cool stuff they'd put out before. They're getting a few new bands here and there, but if if they're the legacy labels and they're still putting out the stuff that like we all eventually find our way into, if you're in punk and hardcore and guitar music in general, you're gonna find releases from those labels. And like, having them in print is awesome, and then having new stuff is cool. But is the legacy label now the label that has like a bajillion releases? Is it the label that like has like 7 or 8 records that are like universally loved and they just keep putting them out there? Like, what is the modern legacy label to you?
it feels like the modern legacy label, at least my read on it, and the reason I name drop Deathwish and Bridge 9 as examples. It's like they have an extremely strong back catalog, um, but their focus is like at this point seems to be primarily like they will put out stuff for their existing artists when but they tend to be older acts that aren't like touring a ton or like putting stuff out a lot. Um, but primarily it seems like they're doing a lot of like distro, um, and sort of pivoting to like sort of like Deathwish in particular is sort of like a one-stop shop for a lot of underground music.
Yeah.
They carry releases for tons of different record labels besides their own, and they're also doing like they also started carrying like fine art stuff too. You know,
Yeah.
Thomas Hooper and various other artists like have stores through Deathwish, so it's like yeah, it seems sort of like do you see what I'm trying to get at? I
I
feel like
do.
I'm
I do.
rambling a bit.
No, no, no. It's instead of being just the label pushing their own artists, they've now taken on this role of kind of being like the one of the big places to get everything. So if you can't find
Yeah.
it at Revelation, you can find it at Death Wish and vice versa. And they both carry Bridge 9 stuff and they both have exclusives for like all the big labels. So like that's different from your homework as a partial legacy label. And the reason why I'm glad we're talking about it because Triple B is going to be a legacy label within 5 years, I think, not in a bad way, but like Sam has put out like I don't know 7,000 records at this point. Like there has to be a number point where you're like, yo, we're a fucking legacy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and
uh,
I think part of it too is they're the folks behind it are like getting older, so it's not like, you know, I feel like it's a mature and good thing to pivot so that like there are younger people who are behind, you know, Days or New Morality Zine or Streets of Hate whose like finger is like really on the pulse of what's happening right now, and like letting those labels do their thing rather than like, you know, you see what I mean?
yeah, it's less competition. It's more nurturing
Yeah.
across all of it.
Yeah.
So all right, hell yeah. Anyways, Division of Mind, they got a new record coming out on Triple B. And I believe Streets of Hate's doing a variant. I believe some other people are doing a variant. I think Deathwish might have one. You can get it there. See how I put it all together? It's fucking music to fight traffic to bare knuckle too. It is an amazing return form for that. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you this in pre-production, but this is how I wanted to get to the Division of Mind stuff.
Have you ever wanted to fight traffic so that you could go to fight God?
Is this like the anime version? All right. um, all right. What do you want to jump onto next?
I was gonna say like, oh, what was I listening to this week? And I realized that like I didn't listen to a whole lot of music this week, just because sometimes my brain makes the bad chemicals and it gives me the scaries, and so I put on podcasts and audiobooks. Um, so I've been listening to a ton of the audiobook for The Martian, which was made into a movie starring Matt Damon, which
Okay.
I really like that movie as well. But yeah, I don't know how compelling that is to talk about on our music forward podcast.
No, like
Uh,
it's what you were listening to this week. So The
that's
Martian.
The Martian, and yeah, uh, been watching a lot of Mythical Kitchen on YouTube.
What is Mythical Kitchen? I'm saying this not to be like glib. I actually don't know what it is.
It's an offshoot of Mythical Morning, which is like a pretty big like Rhett and Link are sort of two of the biggest YouTubers out there that aren't fucking like Mr. Beast. It's their like food centric uh offshoot, and the thing that's been making the most noise on Mythical Kitchen's channel is they have a series called Last Meals, and it's an interview show where um they bring on folks and like they ask them like what would you like your last meal to be, and they make that for them, and the host Josh sits down and like just kind of has like a pretty deep conversation with whoever it is. uh Kind of like, a lot of it's kind of focused on like life and death and stuff like that. It's by the host's own admission, it's like him, it came out of like him coping with his own mortality after the death of his father. Um and So they just did their 100th episode with Elijah Wood,
Ooh.
but they've had everyone from like Tom Hanks to Johnny Knoxville to um I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson on there. Like it's kind of all over the map, but it's a really good show. I recommend.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. See, sometimes we do stuff other than music, listeners.
True.
So sometimes it's nice to take that break and suggest some shit that out of left field. I don't have anything to suggest today. Uh, I've only listened to one audiobook, and that's The Sandman, and that's probably the only one I'll ever listen to. But
That's a good one. If you're only gonna pick one. I did listen. The music I did listen to this week is sort of my go-to music when I'm when my brain is doing the scaries, and it's a group called Heilung. Have I ever told you about this
no,
act?
no, go
Um,
off.
so Heilung is a band. All of their lyrics are primarily based on like ancient, uh, like European pre-Christian stuff, like
Pagan stuff.
pagan stuff, or and even older than that. Um, they put to music. There's like a bit of music we found from like ancient Babylon that might be the oldest song we have record of.
No shit.
Um, yeah, it
That's
like they found it
dope.
on some like bronze tablet or whatever, and so they took that and put it to music, which is super cool. But it like
Huh.
the majority of their instruments are all things that would have like that are ones that they've made themselves that would have been available to like Bronze Age peoples. Um, they get on stage and they're wearing like animal skulls and have giant drums that they're beating, and um,
That's fucking
they're kind
metal.
of it's yeah they're on Seasons of Mist, which is like a metal record label.
Shout out Season Mist.
But part of their whole thing is this like they come from this world of people trying to reclaim like Germanic and Norse paganism from Nazis,
Good. Good for them.
because like Nazis sort of like co-opted a lot of that shit in like the sloppiest, laziest way possible. And there's been this movement of folks who are like, Nazis shouldn't have like ownership of our heritage. This is our fucking heritage, and it has nothing to do with hatred. Um,
Taking it back.
yeah, it's
No,
it's cool as fuck. And I find the music very grounding. And it, as a German myself, it taps into something that's just like, oh, my bones remember this music. I don't know how else to describe it. Um,
You're actually the Dovahkiin from Skyrim. You're actually the Dragonborn.
they have a live performance on YouTube that they recorded at Red Rocks that I should send your way.
Not just that. Put it in the link for the thing.
Yeah, we'll do. Um,
I want
so
everyone else to experience this with fresh eyes and ears, just like me. That sounds fucking awesome.
yeah, it's cool as shit. They brought out a bunch of um, they brought out before the show started. They brought out people from local tribes in Colorado, like Indian tribes there in Colorado, uh, to like bless the stage and like and stuff like that. It was it was like going a step beyond like a land acknowledgement. It's like, no, actually bring the people out to say like, no, they're still here. This is their land and they're welcoming us to this place. Um
That's fucking wholesome.
it's so fucking cool. Yeah, and then they do the chanting and the beating of the drums and the throat singing and it rules.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I will. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that. So that's actually something very cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when you get a chance to. You can't tell, but the television is to the, I don't know, 12 feet away from me. That will be up on the on our YouTube, which is my favorite channel on television. It has limitless things on there, folks. Use it. Use it before the ads bog us down completely.
Yeah, I started paying for YouTube Premium because I watch so much YouTube, and anytime I
Receivers.
have to use YouTube and there's ads on it, I'm like, this is unwatchable. How can you do this?
It's the ad. I think the ads are slowing down like videos loading in general. It's very annoying. I don't care if you're a
Yeah,
YouTuber and you put your ad in the middle of the video, that's fine. But just breaking it up in the middle of like something important or like, oh, stop it.
it, yeah, no, yeah, it's rough. Um, all right, let's pivot away. You had a cool mail week.
Yes, it did. Going back to the legacy label, Death Wish. Um, Almost all this came from Death Wish. I'll pull the things that did not come from Death Wish out first, just because I want to really focus on what I got from them. Uh, So the first thing I got, so this got, I got the Poison Wells Peace in Place. I finally got a physical copy of it. We just talked about it last week. Um, I don't know if I ever said the album title. I
I don't
don't know.
think we said peace in place once on last week's episode.
Active on air fixing and retractions. We done goofed.
We
I figured
done.
because like it came out when Neurosis did. In my head, it was one of those things of, oh, everybody knows what it is. But no, I got a very cool variant of it. I'll go ahead and pull it
Yeah,
out real
chances
quick.
are if you're listening to our show, you already know what the things are that we're talking about, or you're like know us personally, and that's why you're watching. So
Yeah.
uh, that
So
looks dope, by the way.
thank you. This is I bought it because I was like, you know what? I bought the single. I might as well buy the LP. I without knowing what it was going to sound like, and we talked about it last week, and it was awesome. Here's I forgot to cancel my subscription, so I'm probably just going to keep it going. Uh, but I got this. I got a Lisa Loeb and Nine Tails.
Right on.
So I can listen to Stay over and over and over and over. And it's actually, in all reality, it is a very good, like, I live in New York in the 90s loft record. Like, it's your, okay, I'm gonna put something on. I got a girl coming over. She can't see my Pearl Jam records or
But we're
my,
gonna put on a movie starring Minnie Driver.
yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna talk about crocheting. It's gonna be awesome. Um, all right, so now we're gonna get to the meat of
Tell me
everything.
everything you know about God, because I'd love to meet her.
So this first one, I got a different version of it. I got two because I panic bought this, but I got the decibel version of Converge. Love is not enough. It's a silk
Oh,
screen
sick.
cover. Um,
Oh, that's dope.
so when I pull the other one up, as you can tell, here's the regular what it looks like, but the print is different. They made 200. It's on red vinyl. We all know what the color red is. I don't need to show anybody. I hope you know what. I hope if you're colorblind, I apologize, but I hope you understand the concept of red, at least.
Understand the concept of red.
Yeah, there we go. There. Now we're moving on to the Death Wish Mega Package. I got a bunch of sleeves for a bunch of my records that needed it. First thing up, I got that I wanted to talk about was Damien Moyal is someone who I've looked up to as a lyricist for years, and musically has done a ton of cool stuff. Between Morning Again, which was where one of my email names and one of my live video game names is named after. You have Shai Hulud. You have As Friends Rust. You have Damien Dunn. You have I think he was in Burnaville Omen as well. Is that right? I'm not fact checking.
You would know better than me. This is one of my blind
But
spots.
my favorite thing he's ever done, other than the Damien Dunn stuff that Mind Over Matter Records put out. Shout out Austin. He's the homie. As Friends Rust is my favorite thing he's done, other than his demo like EP or whatever he did with Shai Hulud. So I got Lightless newest As Friends Rust record. I got this from Death Wish. I believe End Hits put this out. This is a pink, like baby pink, baby blue kind of mix of the vinyl. I'll pull it out real quick.
That cover art looks like it belongs on like a paperback version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Holy shit! I got a sticker sheet. I haven't listened to this yet, physical. So I got this sticker sheet that came with it. What the fuck I'm gonna do with it? But I love As Friends Rust. It's definitely the band that you would get into once you got out of hardcore but didn't want to listen to pop punk and wanted to seem smart. It's definitely one of the bands that like I said,
That's a cool
vocally,
vinyl color, by the way.
it matches the art, it matches everything. It's very nice. But As Friends Rust is a band who I've never seen play, and I've had 3 opportunities, and like fate has made it not happen. Whether it was like COVID or Hellfest 2000 getting crammed into 2 days. I've never seen As Friends Rust. I hope to see them one day, but this is just more solid post hardcore. I don't think this band really gets talked about that much in general. So it's a band that I've followed for a long time. Their best record is probably One, which was out on Doghouse Records. It is a perfect. You could almost call it a melodic hardcore record, and they have the 6-song EP that they did with Good Life. Um, yeah, Good Life out of Europe. Those 2 records were very important to me as I got older. I still love those records specifically, but As Friends Rust is a band that, as I have gotten older, lyrically has matched up more with certain changes in my life. So, Damien, keep doing what you're doing. I hope we get a new Damien Dunn record. So, I love the fuck out of As Friends Rust. If you're not familiar, give them a shot. If you like I feel like Drug Church, Fiddlehead, Military Gun, Angel Dust, you're going to like them, but you're going to feel like I should be drinking wine while listening to them. So you're going to feel extra smart.
Dope.
Let's
That
see.
sounds like a good time.
That's a band. If we ever decide to do a deep dive on them, I would love to get everyone else's opinion instead of mine, because I think that I just think they're one of those bands that again, very 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 important to me personally. Now I have the regular copy of Converge. Love Is Not Enough. This was the Death Wish, this second Death Wish exclusive, which sold out. Techno Killer. We've already talked about the record, but that's what it looks like. It's all stripy.
Nice.
Death Wish made a million variants for this record. It's we don't get a Converge record too often, so they went all in. I think I got the screen print was cool, and that this variant color. Very happy with it. Let's see. Now we're moving on to some stuff that you recommended me. This is what they had at Death Wish, so I bought it. First up is Intercourse, their newest LP. Fuzzy rock, fuzzy noise rock, just fucking unhinged fuzzy noise rock. This is like if you like Jesus Lizard but feel like you should be microdosing ketamine at the same time, this is the band for you.
If you like some of Tim Singer's stuff that isn't as metal leaning, I think you'd like that too.
Yeah. So like,
It's in that vein of like the vocals in particular like are he sounds unwell. Uh he has that quality that I like in vocalists where after listening you go, I hope he's okay.
kind of like the intensity of Birds in Row, not the same style or sound, but the intensity that they give off in the I know the last couple of Birds in Row record, even the whole Death Wish era Birds in Row. That's the kind of energy I get from the vocals, as far as like
Mm.
how it moves. Not they don't sound the same, but all right. So this next one, I bought it because I checked it out because you sent it to me before. I bought it because the name was just too good to not own, and like I
Mm.
can't show the cover of one of the records. I just can't. But it's I just straight up can't. But I got a repress uh
If you're
from
curious what it
Brutal.
looks like, you can Google this pretty easily. They're on Brutal Panda. Adam showed me before the start of the show, and we would get taken down by YouTube if we just showed this. So
We're gonna get people get real mad. But the band is called Couch Slut. This is it came in a paper cover, which I thought was great. Um,
nice.
it's the 10-year anniversary repress of the record, I believe. Um, again, just good. If you're a Chat Pile fan, this should be in your rotation. If you like, again, some of the less metallic Tim Singer stuff, this should be in your rotation. If you like Pissed Jeans, this should be in your rotation. Like I think this fills a niche for me that like I don't have a ton of knowledge about. So when I hear something cool, I kind of throw myself at it. And when you said this to me, I was like, okay, this could be interesting. And I put it on. I was like, okay, you've got my attention. And I listened to it and the next one that I got also is also a repress from the original. I think it's like the maybe like a year or two after the first pressing of it. You could do it tonight. This cover I can show. Um, also, Couch Slut, also on Brutal Panda, also available through Death Wish. Um, I got this. I don't even know what color it is. I just sliced it open so I don't get warping because I haven't had a chance to listen to all of them. Oh, it's also black. Either way, this is. I've heard this on Spotify with the new phone, which it was also part of Mail Day. I can't show the old one with the new one because I'm not good at technology. But again, j- same vein as the previous record. Just rewind and listen to it, and then probably one of the most. And this is you're either in one or two camps for this band, and I don't know which one I really fall into because I pretty sure I'm going to go with the other record, but I was able to snag because I like complete editions of things. Oh, I can finally get to my glasses again and read. I got from Iodine, who've been putting out a ton of represses, like Stretch Armstrong, A Drowning Man, and Quicksand. I got Manic Compression, the super crazy book version deluxe edition of it.
oh
Uh,
hell yeah!
the art is different. It's not the other way around. It's like negative space art. It's got
That
I'll
looks
say
wild. That's really cool.
I'll show the back of it just so people can get to take it, but get a good look at it. The record is supposedly the Friends Press vinyl color. I don't know how it got onto the Death Wish site. Maybe I got happened to get lucky when it went up. Maybe they just had like a handful of copies they set aside for the shop. But this is what the actual record looks like.
Oh, that's rad as hell. That's really cool.
So I when I found out about Quicksand when I was a kid, when I was way younger, I thankfully had a couple cool older teenagers that showed me a lot of different music, and I got lucky to hear both Manic Compression and Slip at a very young age, but could never tell the difference. And while I am more Team Slip, um, I've gotten older. I can appreciate this a lot more. This is another post-hardcore classic that deserves your attention. So if you have not listened to it, let Grandpa Unk tell you you need to buy this and listen to this. So that was it for
Realizing
mail.
that we had missed opportunity to name our podcast the Uncusations.
We can make an episode title.
Not escaping the Uncusations. I think I stole that from Axe to Grind, but
Don't care. We can still use it for as a name for an episode. I think that'd be. We'll have to we'll have to touch on a few things that we've seen. It'll be a serious episode. I hope. Well, I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Just every answer at once.
It's our we get really serious. We talk about the still like the semi problematic views we still hold.
Semi. Oh, I got some unpopular ones. No, I'm uh, uh, let's see. We got mail. What do you want to do next?
Well, you had some homework this past week.
Yes, it did. I do not have any physical copies of this band, so I can't show them.
Neither do I. All of my merch or physical copies of any of their music have been lost to the sands of time as I have moved across states and continents.
Yeah, you suggested last week that I check out a band that you have some homies in called Life in Your Way, who I consistently got mixed up with More Than Life and Miles Away, who were neither band sound well. More Than Life is probably closest to of the two,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I mean, there's so many bands with so many names, and they all kind of get put into a bucket together, and you're like, was that this one? So
imagine going to Hellfest in 2001, 2002, and you're like, oh my God, how many bands have the word blood, death, or dying in them?
I mean,
A lot. A lot is the answer for those that don't know. They were amazing. Don't get me wrong. Some of the best times of my life, but looking back, there were a lot of bands that there's a through line of like one of 7 words was going to be in the band name, unless they were like Shai Halud or like
as blood
Alexis on
becomes
Fire.
cleansing or whatever.
Cleansing was another one of them. Yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Um, Deathcore, but make it Christian. Shout out to Cleansing of the Temple, who just played the show with the Browning at Greenville. Gavin, the homie, his band Cleansing of the Temple got a new EP coming out. It is deathcore, but it is Christian. Zero allegations. Go check them out on Spotify.
uh, Shout out an earlier deathcore make it Christian band, With Blood Comes Cleansing, who were on Face Down Records like 15 years ago. I don't think anyone remembers that band.
I feel
I
like they
never listened to
played.
them,
I
but
feel like they played Radio Room. I feel like they played Radio Room when I saw them. I feel like I don't know for sure. We're going back to that era of shit that like, but Life in Your Way,
life anyway. Yeah, man.
they were one of those
Uh,
bands that, like I said, I thought I'd heard them. Uh, Very well might have. Waking Giants is the record,
yes.
and they definitely the first 2 records is a phrase that I think that I've only heard us use. Were definitely partcore records.
How are you defining partcore
Um,
in this
okay,
instance?
so partcore to me is you could have an entire record. You could have you could have 30 plus minutes of music broken down into individual sections called tracks. In those tracks, you could have a bajillion different parts that make up the entire song. Sometimes they go together, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're all good and they don't flow well.
Mm,
Uh
yeah.
this It doesn't mean it's bad. That's the thing that I emphasize. It does not mean it's bad. Um the first 2 records whose names escape me. Because I would give you play by
Uh,
play while I was
Wait,
doing
I can
listening.
do this. Sunrises and Sunsets, Still Our Time is Endless, and Ignite and Rebuild. I want to say.
Yep, and that the one album definitely falls into the early aughts trap of the longer the name, the more
Yeah.
the more the more Weedleys you're going to hear in those songs. Um, so definitely partcore. Definitely, like if they had stuck with certain things, your list. I feel the first two records you're listening to like 4 or 5 different bands, all just kind of kicking it, making shit up together, and none of it's bad. Uh, those records, as far as music, that's what I get from them. They're also very of the time. That's the one thing that needs to be. For those that don't know, like early to mid aughts for some labels, then later on, maybe even late aughts, 07, 08. A lot of bands were using extremely long album title names, extremely long song title names, extremely long multiple word band names, and Life on Your Way happens to fit all of those. Uh, so they're very of a time. They, to me, sound like a mixture of This Day Forward and a lot of Hopes Fall. A lot of Hopes Fall, like a Hopes Fall worship. And what else did I say they sounded like we were doing talking about throughout the week? There's one other band.
Um, I think you compared them to Silverstein.
Yes, that was right. A lot of Silverstein. Um, so vocally, I hear Hopes Fall Silverstein combined throughout all the records. They when they hit Life, when Life in Your Way hits Waking Giant, they hit their stride.
Yeah,
The
that's when they
song
become
become
their own band for sure.
it's
Uh,
less. I'll go. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't. I was saying that's when they became their own band.
Okay. Yeah, they this definitely pulled away from the first two records. And you told me they even had some earlier stuff, but that just wasn't on streaming. So I would like to eventually
Yeah,
listen to that. But
there's a there's all these things tie me down and like a demo before that. Um, so, but I don't like. I think we'd have to do like a Blogspot like media fire.
Mega Upload, YSI, get on Lambgoat. There's a big YSI thread. Uh, download everything.
Maybe hit up
It
Soulseek.
Saddam 518. Uh, so the first two now they're a Christian band. The first two records that I listened to on Spotify, way more overt. As someone who like is not religious, as someone who is very much like I don't need to hear anything about Christianity ever again. The
Oh yeah,
transition from those two records to Waking Giants, night and day,
yeah.
night and day.
Waking Giants, they signed to Solid State, and then they flew out to record that record with oh, what's his name? Guga Garth.
Was Wayne there as well? So sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid.
uh, that dude did like a Rage Against Machine record. I want to say so.
He's had a long production history. Like he's done a lot with big and small bands. So I do recognize the name. Um, I don't know what he told them to do or helped them with their process, but everything got
Garth
cleaned up.
Richardson, known professionally as Guga Garth. Um, worked with Red Hot Chili Peppers, Motley Crue, Nickelback, Rage Against the Machine, Melvins. All right.
All over the place, like truly
Yeah.
all over the place. Whatever he had them do to dial it in, whatever he worked with the process, that record sounds like it was recorded, I don't know, last year. It is insanely good production. The songs go very well together. There's a little bit of clean singing in there. It's not distasteful. Like I also have a weird thing about clean singing, but ours are both very different. And where we like it and don't like it. So this was like not out of the blue, but seemed very planned, kind of like that those two from Autumn to Ashes songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Sorry,
so
I got lost a little bit looking at Garth Richardson's records he's worked on. He did two From Autumn to Ashes records.
aha. So
He did Abandon Your
overall,
Friends and The Fiction We Live.
one of those, the one after Too Bad You're Beautiful is really good. It's got tracks. It's also last time Benjamin was in the band, I believe, and then Francis took over on vocal. Anyways, uh yeah, it was, sometimes we remember things out of nowhere and we got to get them out. Overall, I liked the transition from where they were to where they ended up. I did not listen to the last record, just simply because I I wanted to hear that growth, that jump. They leveled up. There's no, there's very little fat on the bone. There's way more meat. The songs are shorter. Uh, Now, granted, this time period, songs were like 4 minutes, but the first couple records were like hitting Mars Volta kind of territory for me. Either I didn't know the songs changed, or it was so samey because it was true partcore. This you could tell the difference, and I think that like I understand why people were so stoked to see them at Furnace Fest. I actually get why. Um, Not a band that was on my radar, but overall, like I would definitely go see them play. If they're doing a full album playthrough of Waking Giants, was what they did at Furnace Fest. If there was another Furnace Fest, I would actually forego, depending on who it is, who else is playing, and I would actually watch them play. Just be like, okay, you you won me over on one record, and that's what you're playing, and you got it fucking dialed in. It sounds good. There's nothing as a non Christ core dude. If that was the first introduction I had to them, I would not know they were a Christian band, other than maybe the label they were on, and that's pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, thank you.
I mean,
First,
Salty Grave is pretty overt, but and the Threads of Sincerity too. But other than that,
I mean,
not.
two out of like what 12, 13 tracks. That I'm good with that. Yeah, no, thank you for giving me that.
Yeah, I'm glad you ended up liking it. It's one of those like they were a super important band to me. Growing up in Connecticut, growing up as like uh, I wanted to go to hardcore shows, but like selling it to my mom was difficult. Because she was like somewhat sheltering, but like life in your way was meant that I could go to the show, and like um, I think that was a way they were a band like that for a lot of kids. And Life Your Way was always a band like they weren't just playing like at churches to youth groups, like they kind of played with whoever. And think because of that, they meant it was like they were like a gateway band for a lot of people, like exposed people to a lot of people outside that Christian bubble, and I think that was a really important for a lot of folks. You know, I can speculate that it was that way, but it was very much important for me. So
Well, I'm glad you shared that with me.
yeah,
Yeah, I yeah, that was it was just cool. Like it was just the first two records. I was like pleased with the third record. But you kept telling Waking Giants is the one that everyone knows. Like okay, so like the step up and everything went, the quality and everything just leaps and bounds. And if the guys from the previous records here say, "Look, I'm just some dumb motherfucker on the internet," but I didn't hate it. I just understand what those years were like musically for everybody. It's okay to own up to it. But no, it was very good overall, and that record was very cool. I would, yeah, that's all I got. I'm glad I did it. So,
yeah,
and I will probably out
uh,
of all those records, I'll revisit Waking Giants, probably at least once or twice more.
nice, man. This is a fun project. What do you got for me this week?
So we did some pre-pro because like I had this idea originally of giving out a band that only put out one full length. And I was like, well, I don't know a ton that we could do. And I mean, we both know Hamartia or Hamartia, however it's said. That will be for the ages to be figured out. And I asked like, well, what about a German band called Trainwreck? But we had talked about it a little bit, and then we talked about maybe doing Dangers. But ultimately, coming down to the idea, which I think is going to be a harder exercise for both of us, to finding a band that put out one record. and that might be their entire discography. I chose from Long Island, members of one of my favorite bands of all time, Indecision, uh, Millhouse on Wreck Age Records, who is also a legacy label. They've kind of come back a little bit. Some of the other bands they put out were Indecision, Yupicide, Tripface, Sons of Abraham, Inhuman. One is in my one I'm looking at in my head and it's screaming. I can't remember what it is, but they were like they put a lot of weirder hardcore, and I really love that. Now this particular record was fucking Silent Majority. Why? How could I forget that? They put out the Silent Majority material. So I was like, as the one that was screaming, I'm like, I know what it is. God damn it! And I couldn't. But uh, Silent Majority is a legendary Long Island hardcore band, melodic hardcore band. So if you're young, you've never heard that name, you just go. You'll thank me. Or you'll be mad. I don't know. But this band Millhouse, Obscenity in the Milk, weird, very weird. Um, Sometimes it borders a little more on punk rock than it does hardcore. Sometimes it's like, what if Sunny Day Real Estate wanted to write metalcore but didn't know how to?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I mean like '90s metalcore, not current
Yeah.
version of it. Weird fucking lyrics. A lot of existential dread, I think, in a lot of the lyrical content. Um, lot of samples that lead into all the songs in a very flowing manner. I'm going to recommend you listen to the one that actually has the split with Indecision and the EP, which is the updated version, which is actually all on this particular record, this particular version of it, which you can still get at Wreck Age Records online. Shout out. Please put out the Trip Bass record. Make Daddy happy. I want that fucking record. I need Volition to be remastered so I can play through my stereo and mosh and scare my cats. I wish they put their entire catalog on vinyl. I feel that they're one of those labels that is worth it. Same like SFT Records, the smaller influential labels for me. But I'm excited to hear what you have to say about Millhouse, Obscenity in the Milk. When you listen to it, you're like you're gonna have like you're gonna come. I kind of know what you're gonna kind of compare it to, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you're probably right. But I think you're gonna dig it. It's only like 35 minutes of music, so you can give it multiple listen throughs without like having to rewind over and over and over. It flows together real good. So that is my homework is for Millhouse Obscenity in the Milk.
Dope. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good time.
Now is the time for us to rise to our feet and talk about our hard Corigins. How did
Our
this
heart.
hard
Oh,
Corigins?
our Corigins.
Yep, because apparently we'll get sued if
Where
we use the
we.
other word because we're not their kind.
So a little behind the scenes here. There's an episode 0. It's not very good. It's the first thing we ever recorded. It's where we talk about our origins in why we got into music in the first place, what brought us into hardcore. And we were still finding our feet. We still are, but that one was I was just like I looked at it and I was like, we need to do this
Rough,
again.
fucking
Yeah.
rough.
I'm not publishing this anywhere. I was like the final moment for me where I was decided to just kill it and never revisit it was trying to edit out a joke that I had made that was like pretty off color, and I was like, let's just not and say we didn't.
And for the record, I was totally fine with it. I thought it was fucking great.
Thank you. But it also was one of those things like I don't need.
Someone's gonna get fake mad at this.
Someone's gonna get fake mad at this. So I was like, well, anyways. So, my apologies. I am so tired.
You're good. You're good. So let's what got you to go from, you know, not going into rooms that are dark and scary with people screaming at you to being like, this is the only way I can enjoy music now.
Uh, and having you just done the Life in Your Way thing is super, I think, super helpful for this because Life in Your Way, as I sort of mentioned in that, was like a big part of that. You know, at my youth group that I went to, I had friends who were like, a little bit older than me that, got me into that music, like, and took me to go see Life in Your Way. Um, and so, that's kind of how it started. Was like that's how I started going to shows. Like I can't really fully remember how I found the music, to be honest, in the first place. I mean, some of it was like my friends showing me stuff. Shout out Matt, shout out Corey, shout out Ryan. But trying to think like how I went from listening to like pop punk to
No, well, that's a good start. Like the pop punk. What got you? What got you from pop punk? Because some pop punk, no matter how you cut it, still has like a through line of its musical origins, which is wild as hell in a lot of ways. But how did you get from like radio to pop punk? Because that to me is more of the start.
well, part of it I think was that I was never fully down with like radio stuff. Like, and I was kind of always interested in like something that was a little different, something that was a little like not fully the mainstream. And part of it was like going back to like Christian music stuff. Like I was a somewhat sheltered kid. Um the Christian bookstore had like a pretty comprehensive CD collection at it. So I would just go and they had like sampler CDs. Like they would take all their CDs that they got in and like take one of them, carve a notch into the case, and that was like the sampler version, so you could listen to it before you bought it. And so I would spend time in there just kind of listening to anything where the cover looked interesting. And so that's how I discovered like MXPX and POD.
MXPX still they have a fan base that is rabid. So uh, I had what was it? Life in General. I had that CD for years. I picked it up. Pretty fucking great CD.
Yeah, I would go see MXPX like still today. And then that was like middle school, and then as I was getting older, I just was like, what's something heavier than this? And kind of started looking, and I think between that and there was like a Christian music message board that I would kind of push me towards like I got into Zayo, and I was like, what is this?
What was the first Zayo record you heard?
And then self-titled.
Pretty hard, pretty fucking hard record to start off with.
Yeah, and so I remember my freshman year of high school. I had an iTunes allowance, and so every month I would get another Zayo record from iTunes because kind of isolated kid in like rural Connecticut. I wasn't getting out to a record store super often, but iTunes was in the house, and early days, so I would just get another Zayo record and another Zayo record. And then I remember being at a like some older kids in the youth group were like, "Have you heard? Okay, you like Zayo? Have you heard Norma Jean?" And they played like "Bless the Martyr" and "Kiss the Child" for me, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then yeah, it kind of went from there. The summer after that, someone like I picked up the first the Chariot record on CD, and my friend Corey took me to see the Chariot, and then a little bit after that took me to see Life in Your Way, and August Burns Red was on that show actually, um, before anyone knew who they were.
So this is before Thrill
Um,
Seek.
Thrill Seeker was out, but Messenger is the one where they really popped. Wouldn't come out for another couple of years. Um, so yeah, so that's how I first started going. I remember that was like sophomore year of high school. Started going to shows, and then from there it just sort of snowballed. And then summer after my sophomore year, just started going to a ton more shows. Got into so much more music, and then the Poison sort of been in ever since. A couple years later, going to various shows, I met the guys in this band Wrench in the Works, and got an opportunity to like sell merch for them for a few months.
Oh, what year is this, by the way?
2008. So did that for a little bit, which was like 18, freshly minted 18, like very formative to be out on the road. Got to see most of the country that way,
Sick.
which was pretty cool. I didn't get to see any like I got to go to a lot of major American cities. Didn't get to see like the nice part of most of them.
Are you saying that hardcore back then did not have nice venues for them to play in? I
Believe it or
find
not,
that
a place called the Pink Eye in Tulsa, Oklahoma, was not in the nicest part of town.
what a great name for a venue, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it looked and smelled exactly how you'd expect a place called the Pink Eye to look and smell.
Ew. Ew.
Definitely sat abandoned most of the week. Definitely had people squatting in it. Uh,
That's
and
awesome.
it did the classic thing where the people who came to the show came to see their friends who were the openers, and then stood outside for the rest of the show for the touring acts and smoked cigarettes.
Ah, back when it was cool to smoke. Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then ever since then, been keeping up with music and going to shows. I remember in like the early 2010s, would go out to see like Defeater a ton and like Touche Amore and like kind of that world as it was happening. Saw Tiger's Jaw a lot during that time too. We go see Hostage Com a ton.
God, I forgot about
Um,
this calm.
Man, they had a moment and they were good. Saw Code Orange Kids back before they were Code Orange a bunch. Yeah. And that's when I first saw End of a Year Self Defense Family. Was during that time.
The best man.
Um, saw them with Tiger's Jaw and God, I don't even remember. It was so long ago. And then there's a big turning point for me where I kind of had this like I I lived out in Colorado for a bit, and like I listened to the bands that I liked already, but like wasn't really getting into like new stuff. And then I moved back. Like my life in Colorado kind of fell apart, and then I moved back, and shortly after that, Axe to Grind started, and I was like, why the fuck did I stop getting into new stuff? Like I like this. Why would I ever stop liking this? And a year or two later, I moved to Philly, um, and started going to shows here. Yeah, and I, very recently had that like it really wasn't a phase, was
So, during your time and all this, because I had some questions to ask. That's why I'm glad I've interjected a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, growing up through this, like, what what lessons did you learn from, say, like 18ish to now? Because you remember the old thing, like, because of hardcore, I did or I experienced blah. What 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 are the big things you actually ended up getting from hardcore? uh, in your daily life or things that have changed you?
I mean, besides the obvious, where like, my threshold for not being bored at live music is like very high, where like I need the punching and people jumping off of things. One of the things I learned, I think, was like how varied and unique self-expression could be. That there was like a space for the weirdos to be weird, and it was fine. Like, the queer and the neurodivergent, back, I think, for a lot of us, before we even had language for it, you know, we just kind of knew we didn't fit in, and like there was this place where like you could engage in self-expression, um, be that like on stage or in the pit or what have you, like, or um, in how you dressed and whatever. Um, there was space to sort of like uh, define that for yourself. Um, and of course, like there's a push and pull of, everyone, there is sort of a uniform that you're expected to wear and like that. Like there's stuff like that, but at the same time, uh, it was also idiosyncratic as compared to like mainstream, right? And within that, it gave you, there may have been a uniform, but it gave you one where you could identify as like identifiably other. Like I am not part of this, right? And you could have a conversation about like it being its own form of conformity, but what I think it definitely was, it was like a safe container to explore not the fact that you felt like you didn't belong in what like the mainstream quote unquote whatever like was, and then along with it too was this like, the barrier to being able to do stuff was so low, right? Like, if you're going to concerts and you're seeing like Guns N' Roses and you're like, "Oh, I want to make music like that." And it's like, "Yeah, but you're not going to be playing a stadium for a long time."
Yeah, exactly.
And like so like it gave you an opportunity to like, oh, but like I could get together with a couple of friends and like write a shitty demo, or if that wasn't your lane, like, well, I can get together $50 and a couple of friends and like put on a show, right? Like whatever it was, like, and there's something very empowering in that, like to know that, oh, the barrier of entry for me to not just not just attend but also participate in this scene is very, very low as compared to almost any other form of music, right? It doesn't require like a ton of talent necessarily, um, doesn't require a ton of money necessarily either. um, it doesn't even require a stage most of the time. So I think all of that are things that I really took from it. And yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think I got one other question.
Yeah.
If you could tell, uh, if you could tell 18-year-old you that you say it's funny you say it's not a phase. If you could tell 18-year-old you like, listen, your musical journey's about to get fucking wild. You're gonna listen to things you've never thought of. Would 18-year-old you believe current age you?
Would 18-year-old me believe current me?
Yeah, like if you go back in time and like you see 18-year-old you like got the sampler, the CD sampler thing.
Uh, Probably not. I 18-year-old maybe, because that was like when I had already like been going to shows for like a year or two.
Okay, I got
Uh 16, like 15, 16-year-old me, when I'm like first getting into Zayo and stuff, like I remember like first time I heard the Chariot, if I tried to go back in time and be like, yo, eventually you're gonna know those dudes well enough to like grab dinner after the show when you see them.
That's fucking sick.
Like,
That's fucking sick.
right, like that's a, you know, and they're actually cool. Like they're who you'd hope they would be.
See, that's that. I like hearing shit like that. That makes me happy.
Like I don't think I would have believed me. My mind would have been fucking blown. Uh,
Oh yeah. So I don't think I have too many questions for your specific journey into hardcore. Although we will be bringing back up I think to close the show out talk of certain aspects of the Chariot, certain people in it. So we're that's gonna be all right. I will do mine.
yes, please tell me the things.
So this goes back very young. My family was my dad's the only exception to this. Everyone in my family was a creative. My mom, painter, photography. That's how I learned how to take pictures, like to find the triangle and shit, make it look good. How to find motion. Helps me find the transient effects of light on the water. Is what my mom kind of did. So I grew up with that. My grandmother on her side, while she was more of a homemaker, she also did a lot of flower arrangements. So she learned how to really do beautiful things with organic matter, for lack of a better way of putting it. That's what I remember as a kid. My grandfather on my mother's side was a jazz pianist. So I learned very badly how to play piano. I learned the tractor song. I just say tractor, tractor, tractor over and over and over. And I could do like chopsticks and a few other things. Very poorly, mind you. Um, on my dad's side, my grandmother, uh, very into crocheting, knitting, needlepoint. I started learning appreciation for fine art. And my grandfather on my dad's side, big reason why I got into fine art. So on one side of the family, I have jazz. My mom's side, on my dad's side, I get classical. So I grew up around two very different, very complicated, very evocative forms of music. So as a kid, I would listen to that, like the Spider-Man Electric Company records, um, like the follow along, like the Black Hole for Disney or the Black Cauldron, all the scary shit for Disney. I didn't have too much of a focus. Uh, to my cousins, started making me tapes. So at like age 7, 8, they start putting stuff like Billy Idol and like Prince and like NWA and Eazy-E and Ice Cube and Jody Watley and Violent Femmes and all this stuff that like The Cure, The Smiths, Joy Division, New Order, all that stuff. And keep in mind, this is like 1986, 87. So that just kind of, I'll let that date me a little more. So I grew up listening to like a lot of that. My music taste compared to my peers, very advanced and very fucking weird. But that served as like both sides of the family really served. The cousins for modern music was a big thing. Um, and I recently reconnected with them a little bit, and I let them know like you're kind of the reason why I got into some of this stuff, and it was a very thankful way. It's hard, words on a screen may not dictate like the emotions, but that's what it was. And then the love of complicated music for both sides, learning how like things are composed, music theory, the visuals from like my grandfather being really into like cathedrals. I get this big focus that it has to be something either complicated or powerful. That's the only way I learned how to view music. I get to like I don't know, Nirvana comes out, blows my mind. Uh and the
A
same
pretty classic story.
yeah, blew my mind. Because I was like 11 or 12 when Smells Like Teen Spirit was a single, and that introduced me to like stuff like Soundgarden and stuff like that. But because of that, I found Bad Brains. I found Dead Kennedys. I think Bad Brains, Dead Kennedys, probably my Bad Religion being the other one, probably my big intro to hardcore. Eventually found Minor Threat, any of the major 80s, early 90s hardcore bands. Um, Fugazi, Black Flag, any of the staples. That's how I got into it. Agnostic Front. I didn't know that a lot of these bands were hardcore bands. They're just punk bands to me. So with the rise of punk rock and me going into the CD store, hoping I get a cool recommendation, buying it because I'm a kid, I don't have a lot of money. The classic reading the back of the insert of the CD to find out more stuff, the thank you list, very, very big for me. Um, and so I got into hardcore. I was already in punk rock. I was just trying to consume stuff. I got into ska real hard too. Really loved it. Horns, classical music. There, it's coming back out again. I started skateboarding. At this point, I'm in Rutherford County, North Carolina, hating my existence. New step family, a lot of wild shit. Doesn't need to. We'll go off on that another time. That'll be when we define ourselves as people episode. Well, that's the one where I'll cry for the first time on camera ever.
Patreon
I will.
exclusive. Adam
Yeah.
and Kate cry and hug each other through the through the computer.
We can monetize that on OnlyFans. I swear to God, someone will pay us lots of money for that.
Call it
So
emotional porn.
it's ASMR, but with feelings. So it's like early mid '90s at this point. Punk rock has exploded all over MTV. I've been skateboarding for like 1 or 2 years. I was into punk rock when it was called Hey F Slur. So if you've ever seen an old person wearing that shirt, that was living in Rutherford County. That's what it was like. Um, I got Thrasher magazine, and I found Victory Records and Revelation Records because like this had ads, and I was like, "Who are these people jumping around? That they're interviewing a band about playing a show and Earth Crisis, this straight edge band. I knew what that was, but like, oh, they're not smoking blunts and cracking champagne. That was one of the direct things from that Thrasher magazine. And we go, oh, so I stole my stepmom's credit card a couple times and bought a bunch of CDs for a bunch of different places. I don't give fucking sue me. I don't give a shit, bitch. Die. I hope she's dead. Keep that in. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah, I hate her. I hate her so. I hate her so much, so goddamn much. One of the reasons why I'm still into this shit. It wasn't fuck you stepdad. It was fuck you stepmom, and not in the way you had to pay for like a site to see that. So skateboarding.
I'm all the way inside of this washing machine for some reason. You better fuck me about it.
Oh no! So I'm skateboarding around Rutherford County, and I meet a couple older kids, Matt Daigle and Zach Patterson. Shout out Matt, rest in peace, Zach. They're in a band called Deadlock, and they're like, "You like hardcore?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm a teenager. They don't think fucking teens know anything about anything. But I had this long storied indoor kid obsession with music and just like following it down like the deepest rabbit holes. Even stuff I didn't agree with. I was like, the Screwdriver record really has tracks. No, I'm just kidding. But like things like at the time, like I didn't listen to a lot of anti-religious stuff, and there were parts where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, and like stuff that would come off as like super anti-American, which
Mhm.
my dad for those my dad was a Vietnam vet, POW MIA. So like I had this weird, not performative, but very like ingrained sort of patriotism to revere your country. Contradictory messages were fucking with me. As I got older, went to college, I found like more metalcore stuff, like your turmoils, your VODs, your integrity. So like at I think like 16, 15, 16, I'd gotten in trouble. Weird that the kid in Rutherford County that didn't fit in got in trouble. What? Um,
Weird.
I know, wild.
Never happened before.
I ended up going to Christ School in Arden, North Carolina. Got kicked out of there for trying to burn the school down. Uh, I didn't want my dad to get remarried. How else can I put it? It was a firestorm to purify.
Uh,
Chun
that's.
chun, chun chun,
I feel like
chun
that's
chun.
like that. That's like a step. It's like step one. You're like, be angry at dad for remarrying. Step 2, attempt to
First
burn
school
down school. Step 3, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step
profit.
4, my life is better now.
The profit.
Step 5, profit.
um, and all it really was, like, to clarify, so no one comes after me. It's well after the fact. I was trying to open up a vending machine just to steal snacks and money, and I set the motherfucker on fire.
I
so
want. I will successfully steal it by burning it down.
I set the school on fire because it sounds very dramatic. The fact of the matter is, my head, I was going to steal enough food and enough money out of the machine to leave Arden, move to Asheville, where there's a lot of punks, and start a band. That was all I had. I was gonna be able to live
I
in
think
Asheville.
vastly overestimating how much cash is kept in a vending machine.
And all boys boarding school, it was pretty fucking heavy. I promise you that. We were
Is it
dirtbags. We
start a
ate
new
so
life
terribly.
heavy?
Like in my head, yeah, 16, 17, 15, 16 for that. And got kicked out, went to military school, got disconnected for a while, but had like the Victory magazine. For those that remember, Victory would put out this catalog that had everything they distroed, interviews, upcoming stuff, their full spread of like merch and everything. It was very cool. Um, so after that, I fell even further into hardcore. Started doing like some real hardcore like criminal shit. Was a very bad, very very bad person for a while. And when I went to college, met more like minded people. Was no longer straight edge at this point because I'd claimed it for a very very long time, and then I was not having fun, so I stopped. Started going to more shows. Probably had some of the most influential shows between my last year of high school to my second year of college. Met my BFFFFFFFFFFF for L May 25th, 2000. It was One King Down, Shelter, Glassjaw, and Alejon. I had been street teaming for as many labels as humanly possible because I lived in a market that wasn't being serviced. So I got a lot of free stuff. I got guest lists for shows. Finished out through college, had a weird moment where I went to backpack rap, stopped listening to hardcore, came back into hardcore from the first band that ever scared me when I listened to their record, which Integrity's Humanity is the Devil is still my number one hardcore record of all time. Still one of the most terrifying pieces of music I'd ever heard up until that time I heard it. Even today, it's still a fucking terrifying record. It's a masterpiece. So the Holy Terror sound was coming back around. I missed out on a lot of the stuff that was actually in your lane in your years coming up. So I missed a lot of the Bridge Nine stuff that made it big. I was at the early Bridge Nine stuff. Shout out Chris for being my pen pal back in the day. I met a lot of bands, been to a lot of shows at this point, been to Hellfest a couple of times back way back in the day, and just kept going through that. Like I'm here, I am at 46, and I'm still back in all the way because of a band that terrified me.
Mm.
And it's expanded my musical taste, so I don't have one lane. I can listen to a lot of different stuff. And hardcore, like you were saying, music, the tolerance, you need to have that energy. I can't sit. There's like two bands I can sit and see. Everything else, I gotta be able to fucking move. And it spoiled the shit out of me. But it all in all, I think like probably one of the better life choices I made, especially when I was a fuck up 17 to 24-year old. Probably one of the things that kept me out of prison, kept me out of jail, kept me out of harm's way. It gave me a focus because all I wanted to do is like be in a band or run a label or do a distro or be a booker or all the cool things that like you could do that you didn't need. You talk about barrier to entry, very low. I think I'm fortunate that I came up through hardcore in the 90s, specifically because that was like probably one of the most violent times to be in hardcore. I know the 80s was fucking nightmarish, but I feel the 90s was like truly scary. As far because bad neighborhoods.
Hmm.
Like it was rough. Even if I go to
My
shows like Spartanburg, South Carolina, it was just fucking scary.
my buddy Andy plays it. Shout out Andy. Plays in Life Your Way. Used to play in Wrench in the Works. I met him roading for that band. Would tell me stories about going to hardcore shows in the '90s in Connecticut. It's like, yeah, we'd go to shows and Jamie, like Jamie Jasta of Hatebreed, put on tons and tons of shows in Connecticut throughout the '90s, and he would stop the show and say like, "Hey, um, I have chained and padlocked the front door shut. There are people outside that literally want to beat us up and kill us. They have guns." And like, so I have locked the doors until they leave. Like,
I thought that was going like a bad luck 13 way when you started. That was a totally different thing. Fuck.
yeah, yeah, because the shows would be wherever they could go, and they weren't always in the nice parts of New Haven.
No, and like I was in the South, so I had Asheville, downtown Asheville, for shows. I had Spartanburg, South Carolina, the original Ground Zero. Big Jim, rest in peace. Shout out forever for being very cool to me, specifically, and a couple other of those fuck up kids, giving us a place to go. Uh, I had Tremont Music Hall, which was like my stomping ground for a long time. I didn't go. I think I went to the Milestone once or twice, but it's mostly Tremont. And then like as I got older, I was going to shows in Winston. So shout out to Dave Owen of Code Seven and Chris from Stretch Armstrong for booking a lot of shows in Winston. And also, I started going to Columbia shows, started going out to Atlanta shows. So I got to see some of like the bands that are legendary and some of the most terrifying locations booked by people that were also in bands that were local legends that would like were so inspirational to everyone else in the area. And I feel like, along with all of you said about Josta, I feel like all those people that were booking shows, that were in bands, that were taking care of things, really took the best part of the 80s framework and foundation and made something for like a really rough world for people that needed a place to go. So like the violence was very real. If you weren't mixing up with townies, you were mixing up with like hilljack yokel types. You're mixing up with cops. You're mixing up with gang members. Like you're mixed up with neo Nazis. Like Pittsburgh specifically. My first year of college when I went to shows at like Laga and Graffiti, lot of rune tattoos where they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Lot of fights in the parking lot. A lot of fights in the bathroom. Um, like I lived through all the violence, made it out unscathed, or well, not. I'm okay.
Slightly
So
scathed.
yeah, yeah, I got a few scars from like fights and shit and like getting hurt, but probably should have gone to a doctor a couple times. But in all reality, probably one of the most interesting things I've ever been able to witness, but also be a part of, be it street teaming, just as a fan, trying to start like a fucking zine, trying to be a booker and promoter without having any knowledge of what to do. It was probably one of the coolest things, and still is one of the coolest things. Now it's like occasionally mosh, buy some records, pet the cats, scream in your car on your way to work like an office space, but you're not as mad. Uh, you're mad because you can't two step at in the hallway. So it's yeah, dude. It was that's like that's the big thing. It's
So, um,
that was very long. I apologize.
no, not at all. If I guess same questions for you. Like, um, what are some of the things that you really took away from this that you don't think you would have found otherwise?
So I had a good foundation from my family until the step people came into existence. Um, Hardcore reiterated like a lot of very specific values that I still have to this day. Like I have a certain level of integrity with the way I do things, not just because Dwid's awesome, but like you get this purpose of like this is fraudulent, this is real. And I learned what was real very quickly. I learned not to talk that shit unless I was ready to fucking be able to handle it. Like I learned how to be a very real person and deal with very accelerated versions of conflict. Is one way to
Sure.
put it.
Yeah.
Um, it gave me a lot of courage. Uh, it gave me a lot more of a thing to believe in myself. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you and a couple of homies can sit around and write some music in a garage, you can kind of almost put your mind to do anything. It exposed me to different ways of life. Uh, Veganism, straight edge, vegetarianism, um, other religions. It taught me respect for other people. Like I already had that, but it definitely was like one of the things that helped. It showed that you're the other. Everyone else around you is the other. You don't have to
Mm.
be a fucking lunatic. And like I wasn't always like that. I had some very shitty views for a long time, but hardcore was one of those things. Hardcore and punk rock in general started removing those from me.
Mm.
And like I attribute a lot of that to that. Uh it gave me the courage to do creative things. So my label, which didn't last long, but it was cool. Bands I tried to do, trying out for much bigger bands I had no right trying out for. Somehow making it 14 fucking years into doing stand up comedy to whatever degree of success it is. It's still everything I do on stage is honest and it comes from me. And that comes from fucking hardcore. Like if it wasn't for hardcore, I probably wouldn't have gotten into Muay Thai because I never would have gotten into comedy because those chain of events never would have happened. So, like, you know, fucking keepers of the faith over here. I think that was like all the good foundation I got from my family. It reiterated it and it made me care.
Yeah. Um, and I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this because I want to take a question you asked me about, like, if you could go back in time and talk to your 18-year-old self, right? Um, but I want to take it in a little bit of a different direction uh, because I want to be different.
Oh, chaos control. Hmm.
If you had the opportunity to like go back and talk to 18-year-old self, is there like, and you could only like give them like one thing, like, hey, I know you're going through the shit right now, but like because you're at this show right now, because you're doing involved in this, like you have this to look forward to, what would that thing be? Does that make sense?
um, here's where I'm going to change one little bit of that.
Please.
Go back to 17-year-old me.
Okay.
It'll be don't bring the gun to school because you're going to because you're going. Okay, I'll tell the story. It's fine. So my first my first felony, which has now been officially erased.
Change one little thing, my question. Change the entire premise of the question.
No, no. This will make sense. Don't
Okay.
bring the
Okay.
gun to school. Um, because you will miss
A
out
good
on the
rule of thumb, words to live by, really.
yeah. So a friend of mine was worried about getting shot. I brought an unloaded 22 to school. I got hit with a felony, kicked out of military school. It was a whole thing. And the
Mm.
hardcore was blamed on it because of the crazy music. But had I not done that, I don't know if I would have been shaped into the person that I am now. But if I had told myself that you're going to miss out on so many things, so many milestones, and hardcore is still going to be there for you. Don't jeopardize things because you're making a short-sighted decision
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to miss all the things that really do shape you for who you are, and you're going to be stunted for a while, so you're not going to hit those things where you naturally should have. So that's why I phrased it that way. I took what you said because it's like if I hadn't done that, I probably one we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's the in all honesty. So I'm glad I took the gun to school. Don't take a gun to school. But
I'm glad for every event that came afterwards that redeemed that moment.
yeah, so like that was a pivotal point where like this was such a focus that I wasn't paying attention. And if I had been paying attention, where would I have ended up? I think I would have still been as rooted into things as I am, but I would not be where I am right now having this conversation with you. So the bittersweet is I lost out on a lot of things. I fell behind my peers in a lot of ways. The positive is I got to live a very interesting life. I got to live a very full life. I did not get married early. I did not have children. I did not do a lot of the trappings that you're supposed to do as an adult. I lived like a fucking permanent hardcore kid till I started getting like, you know what? I like a credit score. It's in my 30s. So like I got to live out my youth for an extended period of time and I got to do a lot of cool things and meet a lot of cool people and go on a lot of adventures because of this. Because of and I think a lot of it goes back to those cousins making me mixtapes and being exposed to jazz and classical. I think like that is how I'm here. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It is the it's the path that I
It's what got
chose.
you there. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was presented to me and I just like, fuck it, I'm all in. And maybe, my self destructive nature of that is why I did all the dumb shit I did. But
Right on.
so not to totally derail the question, but like I wanted to put some context behind it because 18-year-old me was in jail. Uh 18-year-old me was in some real bad positions. So that's why I wanted to rewind it here.
How
Because I don't
long
know
were
if
you incarcerated?
on and off, like maybe 8, 9 months on and off. So like I'd be in there for a while, I'd get out, living where I lived, I'd pop off of the mouth to somebody, go right fucking back for a couple weeks. It wasn't like I did anything bad. I wasn't a violent felon. I made some mistakes. I'd fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nothing that like I would feel ashamed of now. I tried to help somebody, it didn't work out. That's how I view my first charge. I thought he was gonna get fucking killed, and no one else was doing anything. So I stood up and did the right thing because hardcore taught me to do the right thing. It's a little short sighted. I don't blame hardcore for it, but I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted to make sure someone was
Mm-hmm.
safe. I mean, I paid a price, but again, who the fuck cares? Long term, I'm. It gave me the strength to get through my fucking bullshit, and it gave me the strength to get through my problems. So because of hardcore, it gave me a lot of the guidance that Uh, it reinforced a lot of the guidance that the way I was raised. So some bad things happened, but overall, I think like it made me a better, fuller person.
Yeah. Right on. Um, I think we had more to talk about, but I feel like I feel like this is good, and we could call it.
Yeah.
What do you feeling?
One last thing, since you mentioned Norma Jean and the
Yes.
Chariot, uh, Josh Scoggins, a legendary figure in punk and hardcore, a legendary songwriter from Ludacris to Norma Jean to the Chariot to
A Rose by
68.
Any Other Name, his country project. Uh,
Did not even know about that one. Congratulations, mega fan. That's very cool.
uh, Not bad. He has
Uh,
a good singing voice. You'd also known that if you ever heard the hidden track on the first Ludacris record. So there was a ton. It was funny. Two things happened around the same time. Their lovers announced that Greg, what their, I'm not going to embarrass myself by mispronouncing the man's last name, was leaving. And Josh's band 68 um, announced that they were breaking up and they're going on one final tour. The rumor mill began to churn that Josh was going to join Better Lovers as their vocalist. Now I didn't because I'm a stan of Josh Scoggin. Not as much as I was when I was like a teenager, early 20s, where I was like um, obsessed. But I was like, under no circumstances is that man joining someone else's band. Like that dude does exactly what he wants to. uh, like full on like Gandalf. Like I don't. A wizard never arrives late or early. He arrives exactly when he wants to. Like that is just how that dude's always operated. And so he put out a written, like a handwritten statement on Instagram, which already great, way classier than like screenshotting a notes app, uh, and just said, "Yo, these two things are entirely coincidental, and like it's flattering that y'all would think of me as being somebody who could like step into that position, but like I don't join bands, I start them.
That's fucking hard. That's such a
That's
hard thing to say.
fucking yo." Uh like I fucking loved it and I was like that yes. What a great way to put those rumors to bed. And then simultaneously start a bunch of new ones cuz he's like I got stuff that I want to pursue. I got things I want to try out. So I'm so excited to see what the dude does next. He's a he's a singular talent, I think. And man, I just whatever project he puts himself to next, I it may not necessarily be for me. Like, not all the 68 material was for me the same way that the Chariot was, but like it was to my ear like undeniably good, and anything that dude puts out, I'm excited to see. So
Yeah, if you have not heard the 68 record, yes, it's a very fun, uh, alluding to improv, which they do some improv on stage, the two of them, him and Nico. Uh, um, the 68 has a more of a special place in my heart because they've played a venue that I work at, Radio Room here in Greenville, for they did like three in a row, New Year's Eve shows.
yeah.
So,
I very jealous that you got to see that because that seemed like a really cool thing to do. That would be a fun New
and
Year's Eve.
we didn't get one this year because they were on. I want to say they were in Australia, but we get to see them one last time in middle of May, like May 17th, in Greenville. I get to see Josh Scoggins one last time in '68. Um, so he means a lot to people down here in the South. In general, I know he means a lot to you personally, for his creative output and everything. So I hope his next band is more akin to how his last name is pronounced, because I would love a Scoggins ska band. The Skog Tones
maybe maybe he'll try rapping again.
with ska behind it.
With ska behind it.
That's
Fun
that's what I
fact,
want.
very extremely short lived. I don't think they recorded more than 4 songs, if that. Uh, Josh Scoggin and Jake Ryan, former drummer from the Chariot, had a hip hop project called Oh Henry.
What a fucking weird name. Let's take this very specific part of literature, and now we're gonna make a rap project.
If I have the MP3s, I'll try and send them to you.
All right. What did it sound like for those who
It sounded like the Beastie Boys.
well, that goes in very well when they do their Beastie Boys stuff with 68.
Yeah.
That flows really well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, I want to get back to I want to tie it all back to part of your beginning and talk about someone who we both very much respect, and hopefully you will get to see him in Philly for 68. I am not trying to make that Atlanta show. I get him in Greenville. I am not driving to Atlanta for that show. That's going to be sold out. That's going to be
I
insanity.
can't blame you. There's not much that would get me to go to Atlanta in general.
I heard the Devil's there.
That's what I heard.
Something about an army.
Surrounded
All
with
right.
something or other.
I hope the civilians don't panic. All right, I'm fuck. I'm sorry.
Well, this ain't my first rodeo. That's how that record starts, by the way. All right. if you've listened this far, we're nearly at 2 hours. God bless you. And thank you so much for listening. I will try and remember to put links to stuff we talked about in the description down below. Give us a listen, tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a stranger on the street, accost a stranger on the street and tell them to listen to our
Watch
podcast.
this.
But yeah, until next week.
Until next week.
See ya.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.